Watson.
I'm Trinity Watson.
This is the Dark Center Mafia Power Hour. Today we're taking a look at Fables, The Wolf Among Us, issue number 1. So this was your pick. What made you choose this one?
I couldn't bring myself to read it in my own personal time, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't find the time or the interest?
The interest, because even though I love the Fables series, I hate Telltale games and
I don't like Telltale games either.
Story.
I've read a lot of Fables, but I've never read this one because I fucking hate the covers.
Yeah, the covers are not the greatest. Fables has some of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then you have this.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like something you expect to see on a Vertigo book.
Yeah.
How much of the Fables series have you read exactly?
I've read the first 2 trades and part of 1001 Nights of Snowfall, I believe.
Just part of it?
Yeah, I don't remember why I stopped, but I stopped for
one
reason.
Okay. So you haven't read Jack of Fables or any of that stuff?
Oh, no. I've read the Jack of Fables trade.
Okay.
I believe, yeah.
I know you own the hardcover because I got it for you for Christmas.
Yeah, that's the one I've read.
Okay. I've read all of the original Fables series.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exactly how many that is. It's like 25 trade paperbacks worth or something like that. 15 deluxe hardcover, something like that. I've read 1001 Nights of Snow. I've read the Peter and Max novel. Mm-hmm. I've read at least the first half of Fairest, all of Jack of Fables. This is one of the few that I've never read.
Yeah.
And I haven't read, what is the series that came after? It wasn't written by Bill Willingham and it only went like 12 issues.
Oh, I don't.
It was actually about like the people of the Mundy after the ending of Fables, but it might spoil something about the end if I tell you that, so I won't go into any detail there.
Right.
I own a couple issues that I just haven't read yet.
Okay.
So we get this god-awful cover, and then it opens up to artwork I actually really like.
Yeah, the artwork isn't bad in this.
If they weren't going to do like a fully painted Vertigo type cover, Fables type cover, they should have just let whoever this artist is do the cover.
Yeah.
Because this art and coloring, shit ton stronger than this, I don't know, fake CGI looking bullshit.
Right.
Sorry to whoever created this cover, but it looks like trash. So, starts off with Big B in some part of Fabletown, I'm guessing.
Yeah, this is like, I think...
outskirts area, maybe?
Yeah, because they're kind of mixed in with the Mundys and
area. They don't go into that much detail about this area in Fables proper, though.
Right.
So it's kind of cool that they're exploring the world outside a little bit. Mm-hmm. So he's meeting with Mr. Toad, who is just a creepy looking motherfucker. Yeah. 3-foot tall Toad. Who's telling him there's a problem upstairs with somebody that Bigby clearly does not want to see. And he's telling Mr. Toad he needs to get a glamour and he needs to get one right now. Can't have a 3-foot tall Toad just walking around the city. Mm-hmm. Which I agree with him. If I saw that thing, I don't know what I'd do with it. Probably kick it. As he's going up the stairs, they're just kind of having a conversation about the fact that he needs to get a glamour. Mr. Toad is a mouthy little prick. Yeah. He comes across as like some alcoholic sitcom dad or something. This is a weird panel.
The one where he's like blowing his cigarette smoke through his hand and stuff?
Yeah, it's not coming out of his mouth. It looks like he's turning into some sort of smoke, which... since Bigby is the son of the North Wind, spoilers if you haven't made it that far.
I think I knew about that.
Okay. I was wondering if he was doing some sort of transformation right there, but he's not. It's just supposed to be a cigarette smoke.
Yeah, I was also thrown off by that.
Yeah, so this is clearly set before Fables issue number 1.
Yeah.
Because this is before there's really a thing between Bigby and Snow White. This is when he's still the sheriff of Fabletown. Mm-hmm. I like that they said it during that. That works for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as he bursts through the door, we discover that the person he didn't want to see is the woodsman from the Little Red Riding Hood story. So I was trying to think if he's ever featured in a single Fable story up until now. I don't think he is. Red Riding Hood is, but the woodsman, I think, is totally untouched ground. So I like that he's included in this. It's always cool to see a different Fable.
Yeah.
I do think Mr. Toad might be featured in at least one issue. If not of Fables, then of Jack of Fables, maybe. I feel like he's been seen before somewhere in there, even if it was just for like one issue. I could be wrong about that, though. So I would like to know who this girl is, but it never actually states what Fable she is. But if you look, it looks like she's spitting like tar into his eye.
Yeah, it never states outright, but there is a fable about a woman who has a ribbon around her neck because and if she takes off the ribbon, then you find out her head's detached. It's a really old story, and I don't remember where it first originally came from. But I'm wondering if she's supposed to be that fable.
Okay. So apparently the woodsman has been just riding off the fact that he cut Big B open and shoved rocks into his stomach back in the old lands.
Yeah, really messed up.
And you get the impression from Big B that he's not telling the real story, but Big B doesn't go into a lot of detail about what it is. Actually goes into no detail. I like that his axe has like runes on it.
Yeah, it has a cool design.
Yeah. Everything about this artwork is really cool. This is a show I still need to watch.
Constantine?
Yeah, I haven't watched this show yet.
I did not know.
I went to watch it at one point in time, but it turned out it wasn't on streaming anymore. I wonder if it is now. There was somebody who commented on one of the Ghost Assassin pictures on Facebook saying that I should get this guy to play David because he kind of looks like him, and since Constantine is over, maybe he's looking for a new show to do. And I'm like, if only it worked like that.
Yeah.
If only you could just reach out to a star and be like, hey, I want you to do this. But they got to be like A-list in order for that to happen. It's not like this guy has the ability to just get a show going just because you see him with fire on his hand.
Right.
Would be cool, though. Yeah, so as they're fighting, Big B notices that he left his axe in the freezer door. And then we get what might be a completely needless silhouette.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was no real reason for this silhouette. It doesn't even particularly add anything to it.
No.
It's a small complaint, but you know.
I hate this ad.
Yeah.
It's so ugly.
Yeah. It looks like it's people that were in Revenge of the Nerds. But it's some sort of competition show, because that's Booger. And I'm pretty sure that's the main guy from Revenge of the Nerds. I think these two are just the same guy. Like, there's three little things of the same two guys.
Which makes it really hard to look at.
Yeah, it's not a well-designed ad, and I never heard anything about that show. I'm going to say it didn't last very long. But Big B was taking the axe, or grabbing the whole freezer door with the axe, rather, which wasn't apparent because the silhouette was odd.
Yeah, it did not. It's not great work.
Yeah. The woodsman's whole thing, though, is it seems like he hired this girl for prostitution and he's refusing to pay her. And that's what the domestic disturbance is that got called in by Mr. Toad.
Yeah.
So you're actually seeing Big B act like more of a cop here, which is kind of interesting because even though you know he's the sheriff of Fabletown, it's always like big crimes he's investigating in Fables.
Never going around doing little crimes like this.
Yeah. So this is actually pretty interesting use of his character, I think. Yeah, so then the woodsman mouths off once again. He's a prick.
Yeah.
And Big B just straight up knocks his ass out the window. But he knocks him out, and somehow the woodsman is the one who's on top as they're falling.
Yeah, I saw that. I tried to I reread it a couple of times trying to figure out how that happened.
It could happen. You know, you could twist an error, and it's comic logic. I mean, you're believing that there's a wolf that has a magical ability to transform into a human.
Yeah.
Who's a sheriff of people from fairy tales that you read when you were younger. Sure, why not?
Right.
Yeah, so then we finally get some credits here. So oddly enough, it credits it as chapters 1 through 3.
I'm wondering, because it says it's based off of the game, I'm wondering if these are the actual chapters from the game.
If it's like a straight adaptation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering too. So the writers on this are Matthew Sturgis and Dave Jostis. It's kind of hard to read that font, but I believe that's what that says. Artists Steve Sadowski, Sean McManus, and Travis Moore. Colors by Lee Lowridge. Lettering by Sal Cipriano. And cover art by Chrissy Zello. So, sorry, Chrissy, but that cover sucks. There is apparently a variant cover by Tommy Lee Edwards, and I do wonder if that's any better.
I've only ever seen this cover when looking through books.
Me too. I've never seen any others.
Book whenever I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why, but...
Yeah, to date, this one has never had an official hardcover release. It's only available like this or in trade paperback, as far as I know. So then Mr. Toad is regretting his decision to call Bigby.
Totaled his car.
Yeah, they landed on his car. And then we get to a page that was incredibly jarring for me as I'm reading this.
Yeah.
So we see this artwork that's the same as what we saw earlier. I'm going to assume anyway. It looks the same. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden it switches to a far more cartoony style. Which isn't a bad style in and of itself, but it doesn't mesh well. And they're on pages that face each other. It's not like they put an ad here to break or chapter 2 or anything that kind of makes it less of a jarring change of pace from what you've been reading up until this point.
Right.
And there doesn't seem to be a reason why they needed a different artist. It's in the same continuity. It's not a flashback. It's nothing like that.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing they used multiple artists just so they can get this out as quick as possible to tie into the Telltale games. That's what I'm guessing anyway.
Right. It would make sense, but it's a weird decision.
Yeah. Especially like right here. Bigby's face looks like a child right there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know part of it is just, it's a weird profile image, but he kind of looks like a mixture of like a kid version and John from Garfield.
Yeah, I can see that. But yeah, no, it's really weird, really jarring, really takes you out of the story.
Yeah, and this artwork is really
sequence.
inconsistent because there's times where the faces almost look cartoony, like especially on the Woodsman. Mm-hmm. And then there are times where the face looks far more detailed, like when you look at Bigby's.
Yeah.
And then the girl doesn't look all that much different. She's actually fairly consistent from artist to artist.
Yeah,
her face doesn't change that much. Yeah, so she buries the Woodsman's axe in his head while he's trying to attack Bigby.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was pretty badass.
I did too. And then goes after what she's owed. But unfortunately we get Flash in the Arrow.
Really ugly ads.
Yeah. I've not watched either of these shows, but
yeah, I
would like to believe these ads do not do them justice because they don't look that great. Mm-hmm. So then she discovers that of the $200 that he owes her, he only had $6 on him. So he's planning on stiffing her in 2 ways all along.
God. Yeah.
So she stomps on the back of the axe, driving it into his head. But he's still able to blabber on because, he's a fable and he's not going to die, right? Mm-hmm. And then we get to a scene where I'm like, I get why this is in here, but it seems wrong. Where there's some sexual tension between the new girl and Bigby. You know why I say it seems wrong, right?
Because he should be with Snow.
Yeah. It's like, he's not cheating on her because number 1, he's not even doing anything with this girl. And number 2, he's not with Snow yet. But that they're meant to be. So this ring means nothing to me that he takes notice of around her neck. Does it to you?
Yeah, because that, I think it's part of her fable. I think it's part of the whole necktie thing because
Okay.
so the fable itself I think is a poem, and it's about this guy who's very persistent towards this girl who always has a ribbon on her neck, and he wants to know why she always has a ribbon on her neck, right?
Uh-huh.
They grow up together and he ends up marrying her.
Okay.
And on their wedding night, he takes off the ribbon and her head falls off. And that's
Should that happen to me with my first marriage?
Okay. No more questions. But yeah, I think that's her husband's ring, or that might be her ring. I'm not sure.
Okay. But yeah, I use super glue.
What brand?
Super glue.
Well, okay.
So then Big B does a nice thing and gives her the, what does he say, $64 or something like that? 58.
Yeah.
$58 that he has on him. So that she can give it to whoever her pimp is, I'm guessing. That's kind of the way it's played, at least.
Something, which to me felt wrong, because if he's a sheriff, like, he should go with her or something. Make sure she's safe. I don't know.
I don't know what the laws are regarding prostitution in Fabletown. That's not touched on whatsoever in this.
Yeah.
And it might be something that's like allowed because maybe it's a part of the more adult Fable characters or something. I don't know.
Right.
We'd have to read the next issue to find that out probably. Or maybe they just never even touch on it again. I don't think prostitution was ever touched on in any of the other Fable series that I recall.
Interesting.
Yeah. It seems like if it would have been in Jack of Fables.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was. So he tells her that he still needs a statement from her and wants her to come into his office. But she wants to go to his apartment instead.
Yeah.
Which he doesn't know how she knows where his apartment is. Gee, he's only kind of like one of the main characters of Fable, so like everybody knows who he is. That's well established throughout all the Fables books, and everyone knows who Big B and Jack and Rose and Snow White are, you know?
Yeah, but he doesn't know who this mystery Fable is, so she shouldn't know who he is either.
And then we get to what I'm guessing is the third artist. Mm-hmm. So this art, I feel like, would have bridged the other two art styles better.
Yeah.
Like, if this one had been in the middle and then it transitioned to what is the second artist is the third artist, I think that would have been a little bit smoother of a transition. Right. Because this one feels like it's almost kind of like an intermediary of styles between the other two. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah.
So as he's going back to the, what do they call it? The woodland, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's going back to the woodland. He spots Beauty just hiding by a tree.
Like a creep.
Yeah. And she thinks she's going to get in trouble for being too near the grass. But apparently that's Ichabod's rule. Big B doesn't give a shit about it. Mm-hmm. What I care about is, I think the Beauty's hair is the wrong color. I distinctly remember her being blonde in the Fable series. Am I wrong about that? Was she redheaded?
I thought...
Or maybe was it was it colored as like strawberry blonde, maybe? Kind of a reddish blonde?
Yeah, I thought she was more of a strawberry blonde. Because I know that Beast is like a dark brunette, but I thought she was some kind of strawberry blonde or like...
I thought so too.
Lighter hair. It might also be because it's nighttime and they're doing her hair a lot darker than it should be to...
Right.
Like, you know...
So while I could tell that this was Big B, is a pre-established character, he looks good, he looks like what you expect.
Right.
I didn't get this as Beauty until he started calling her Beauty. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's nothing about her really that rings off. Not even like a little rose motif or anything.
No, there's beyond and besides her dialogue. Mm-hmm. And then she kisses Big B on the cheek as she leaves, which also seems off-brand. Because I seem to recall in the earlier issues, Beauty was always fighting with everybody, and Big B was one of the characters that she had beef with.
Yeah, she always hated him. She hates everybody.
Yeah, so she seems fairly off model with this, which I know you're going to get when you bring in like different writing teams and stuff.
Right.
But Beauty is literally here just like a character that shows up to give you a side quest is in the video game. There's nothing that we know about why she's here. She just shows up, acts mysterious, and it's a couple of pages of dialogue. Literally, she, in the games, I'm guessing, is a character you find standing over by the woods, and it starts a side quest. Unfortunately, it's a Telltale game, so that means you got to buy each individual chapter or buy a subscription or whatever to even find that out.
Yeah.
Did they ever even release versions of their games that contain the entirety of the game?
I'm not sure, because I've never really played their games. I know people who own their games, but I don't know if they have versions of them for console or not, or if it's all season pass.
No, for their earliest stuff, like, well, I don't know if it's the earliest, but Wolf Among Us and the Minecraft story mode, there were actual discs that existed to those. It just had just the first chapter on it. And then you had to buy a season pass or whatever to get the other chapters. That's why I hate Telltale, because, like, it's bad enough that you can't play a video game these days without having to buy 15,000 downloadable characters.
Right.
This actually made you pay for the fucking levels. I'm guessing. Maybe this one was different. I doubt it, though, because that's all their games were.
Right. I know the Walking Dead games were also subscription-based.
And so is Minecraft Story Mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that is Telltale, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, then Big B goes into the woodland, and Beast immediately shows up looking for Beauty. So, same thing. This probably is from the video game, where it's like some little side quest going on here. Beast isn't too bad looking. I would have guessed that's who that character is supposed to be. In the main Fables series, you get to see a lot of different artists draw the characters. And you can tell that. So, I don't necessarily remember which of the three pigs was which, but I know this is Colin, and he's the one who gets his head put on a spike, right?
Yeah.
Have you made it that far into the Fable series?
Yeah, that's in the first hardcover.
Yeah, and all in all, he looks good. He looks pretty much exactly like he does in that. It looks like, they used the designs that came before and didn't change it any.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't explain, though, why Colin is in Big B's apartment.
Yeah, it just says that from time to time Colin shows up and Big B's like, okay, fine.
Which I do think that was a thing in the first Fables, right? Is that Colin escapes the farm occasionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just can't stand being at the farm anymore, so he'll just kind of wander off. I think that's mentioned a few times even after he's dead. Big B gives him a cigarette, and it leads to my first question. How the fuck is he taken out of his mouth to, like, flick the ashes or...
That's Big B's show. Colin doesn't worry about it.
It never actually shows it. And then I feel like this is a throwback to Fables issue number 1.
Yeah.
When he's going up the stairwell and you see the wolf silhouetted on the wall. I like that. That works. I think that looks cool. Yeah, so basically they're just arguing because Colin wants a drink and a smoke, and Big B's being a prick. And yeah, basically he feels entitled because he was one of the 3 little pigs and this is a big bad wolf. And he owes him. At the same time, he's telling him he needs to get it on with Snow White, and then wants him to get it on with this new girl who Big B doesn't even know who she is.
Yeah.
Which leads to my favorite piece of dialogue in the entirety of this. But I'm asking as your friend, can't your friend be curious who's got you clocking in at all hours? That's not the part. Aw yeah, bow chicka bow wow. That's porno music. I was making porno music sounds with my mouth. Did you get that? I love that line so much. And then, just as Big B is about to leave his apartment, Snow shows up, and she is not a character I would have guessed who she was supposed to be either.
Yeah.
If there was no dialogue here, I would have been like, what's Lois Lane doing?
What's Lois Lane?
In Fables. That she looks more like Lois Lane than she does the Fables iteration of Snow White to me.
Right.
Yeah, so Snow leads him outside to where a crime has clearly been committed. And underneath the security coat he discovers that girl's head from earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But since you stated that if you take a ribbon off, her head falls off, much like my first wife.
Uh-huh.
It makes me wonder, like, is that what this is?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking it was. Is like, oh, she's not actually dead. Like, her ribbon
Yeah,
is
it's
just
the ribbon
taken
thing.
off.
Yeah. Which I wouldn't have known had you not said that, because I've never heard of that fable.
Right.
But that definitely could be. Like, misleading mysteries were a hallmark in Fables, you know? So
yeah.
I like this splash. It's pretty effective all in all.
Mm-hmm. And they really tried to emulate the Telltale art style in the splash. It's a little bit different than in the previous pages and stuff. And the way that they use inks is a lot more like Telltale.
Oh, okay. So yeah, overall, would you pick up the second issue of this if you don't already have it? I guess the question should be, would you read it?
I think I would. Now that I've finally read the first issue, I think I would actually read the rest of The Wolf Among Us.
It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
The fact that it was based on a Telltale video game made me a little less likely to read it.
Mm-hmm.
The cover definitely did not sell me.
Yeah.
I don't like that there are 3 different artists used for one issue.
Right. That doesn't feel right for something like Fables.
No, it doesn't. But it was still pretty strong. I enjoyed the story, despite the fact that it's not written by Bill Willingham. It actually seemed to fit in the world really well.
Yeah.
I like that it's Bigby prior to the events in Fables #1. We see a bit of that in the Fables story proper, but not enough. So it's kind of cool to see it fleshed out a little bit like this.
Yeah, make him an actual cop running around.
Yeah.
Little things happening.
Yeah, you only see him as a sheriff for like, what, 1 hardcover's worth or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he retires from the job, so yeah, it's pretty cool to see, all in all. I enjoyed it. I'll pick up the next issue. Why not?
Yeah.
All right, you got anything else?
Nope.
Let's go make some comics. We didn't create the comics that were featured in today's episode, but we did create these. Check out Ghost Assassin in the Cards and the Chihuahua Who Flew Away mini comic, both of which were written by me. The Chihuahua Who Flew Away was illustrated
By me.